Hey, kia ora koutou. Today I am not Mark the De-monsterfier, but Mark the De-monsterfier. um, because I'm going to talk about something completely different to what I normally talk about. So, for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. This is normally called the Mark the De-mystifier channel, and what we normally feature is some obscure or misunderstood or poorly explained subject and kind of shed some light upon it and make it more understandable. But what those of you who have been regulars to the channel will hopefully know, is that I tend to be very much in the moment, and I kind of shoot things when I'm really feeling it, which sometimes isn't always a good idea. Because sometimes I kind of film in noisy locations with poor backgrounds and shaky camera and stuff, because I just feel like doing a video on something. And I must admit, I was coming from a more I should do a video place, and there's lots of things I want to do, but I'm just not feeling it right now. So what I thought I would do is something completely different. So this isn't anything to do with retroactive jealousy or psychology or anything like that. This is to do with monsters, because I was one. And it's kind of interesting. So I'm going to be talking about science fiction. I've got the light is forming quite weird, wacky patterns in the background behind me, which is kind of quite apt, I think, isn't it? I could either be talking about something highly spiritual with the light formations, or something paranormal, but sci-fi will do. So, Mark the De-monsterfier today, because I just want to share a little bit about my experience of being in Doctor Who. Okay. I am a big Doctor Who nerd, okay, because I'm slightly on the autistic spectrum, so I qualify as a nerd. Unfortunately, I'm a very bad nerd, because one of the things that people with Asperger's are often very good at is taking in and retaining a huge amount of complex knowledge about something. But when it comes to science fiction, I just forget everything. I don't follow stories very well, and this is probably because I've got some other neurodiversity. So I've got stuff like dyscalculia, which makes sequential things quite difficult, and dyspraxia. So my brain doesn't organise things very well, and I don't remember stuff. I'm really bad at remembering stories. So I'm if you're expecting me to want to be one of those science fiction nerds that talk about, well, in season 46 and episode 8, directed by blah blah blah, such and such happened, and I'm afraid not. No, I can barely remember what actually happened. But I was in an episode of Doctor Who. So basically, to go back to the start of the story, I used to do a bit of acting, and but mainly I'd worked as an extra or a supporting artist, as they're called in the business. They don't call them extras in the business; they call them supporting artists, or sometimes supporting artistes, which sounds a little bit pompous or a little bit poncy. So I've had some real fun with that. I've done lots of things. For those of you in the UK, I've been on the BBC's Casualty series quite a few times. I used to live not far away from where that was filmed. Probably one of the best things that I did was two of the best things I did were for Welsh religious programs. One of which where I was one of the apostles singing, and the other where I was the captain of a bunch of Colombian kidnappers in a reenactment. So I was with this agency, and what used to happen is I was self-employed at the time, and I had a certain amount of flexibility. So they would phone me up from time to time and say, "Oh, can you do this? I've got a job on the coming Tuesday, can you do it?" And if I was free, I could do it. It's very difficult to do if you've got more commitments, and I've got more commitments now, so I'm not really able to do it. So I used to pester my agent, which was Phoenix at the time. We were based in Clifton in Bristol. I'm not sure if they still do the casting for Doctor Who, but they did. I used to pester them all the time. "You got anything on Doctor Who? You got anything on Doctor Who? You got anything on Doctor Who?" And they did phone me up eventually and said, "Oh, we've got something on Torchwood, something in Torchwood." would you like that? And I said, yes, 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 yes. But we want somebody to play Second World War American serviceman, I think it was. You'll need to cut your hair short. And I was like, oh, no, you know, because that was absolutely anathema to me. Now I haven't got any hair. I'm kind of follically challenged, really. I do have kind of hair, which I've been growing. I haven't had a haircut for about 20 years, but you know, this is all it amasses to. But at the time I had a good head of hair, and I didn't want to lose it, so I turned that one up. But eventually they did offer me something in Doctor Who, and they said, now this involves lots of running over difficult terrain. Are you up for that? You know, are you fit and able to do that? And I said, yes, 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 yes. Now, for those of you who know, I also suffer from dyspraxia, which is a coordination disorder. So I'm absolutely terrible at running over rough terrain. But I didn't tell them that because I wanted to be in Doctor Who. So, and I had to jump through some real hoops to do this, because I think, was I living in Devon at the time? I think I was living in Devon at the time. Prior to that, I lived in Bath, and that was when I signed up with Phoenix Agency, being quite local. But I was living in Devon, and they said, right, okay, well, we need you to. First of all, they said we're going to feature a couple of, so it was supporting artists, so background artists, if you like. So they said we're going to feature a couple of people. If you can get to, I think they wanted somebody to get to London to have some pointy teeth cast. But I couldn't do that. I was working at the time. I couldn't get the time off. So that didn't happen. So I didn't get to be a featured person with fangs, which was a shame. But one of the things I did have to do is go for a costume fitting, which took about 10 minutes. I had to go all the way to, oh God, where was it? North of Cardiff. It was before I had things like SatNav, and the address made this place look like it was actually in Cardiff, so I actually went through the centre of Cardiff to get there, and it wasn't. It was miles out of Cardiff. It was about, I think it's about 7 miles north of Cardiff. The place will come to, I think it began with C, and it was a place called, I think, Big Boat Studios, something like that. And I was there for literally 10 minutes for this costume fitting, and then drove all the way back to Devon. That's how keen I was to be in Doctor Who. So then it came to the actual thing, which I think it was quite a long shoot. You know, for most of the things that I've been in, it's normally quite short, 1 day, 2 at the most. But this was, I think it's about six nights. And for those of you that are into Doctor Who will know that, you know, all of Doctor Who, from the very beginning to the modern era, is filmed in quarries in Wales. And this was filmed in a couple of different, there's a quarry in Wales and also a warehouse, an older, like an abandoned industrial building. So I had a very nice holiday. I went to a place called Clantuit Major, and stayed there, and there's a phenomenal rocky beach. It's like a, how do you describe it? It's almost like a kind of giant's causeway. It's amazing kind of, not a beach, but a kind of flat, you know, large area or a flat rock formation. And there's a very old church there. I was interested in it because I have an interest in antiquities as well. Not antiquities as in antiques, but antiquities as in ancient places. And it was mentioned by Julian Cope. So Julian Cope, I'm going off on wild tangents here, by the way. This is going to be several parts. This is a ramble, okay? Just warn you, ramble alert. This is, you know, imagine me kind of sitting in an armchair with a smoking fire, a crackling fire behind me, or in a smoking jacket. That was better. Smoking jacket, crackling fire. Telling you anecdotes from, you know, my younger days. That's the way I want you to enjoy this video. So I will ramble a little bit. So Julian Cope, who was in the Teardrop Explodes and does some amazing solo stuff, really quirky. I'm sure he's neurodiverse. Wrote a book called The Modern Antiquarian, and he listed loads of ancient sites, ancient monuments, things like stone circles and stuff like that. And he mentions the church at Clantuit Major, so I always wanted to go there. I'm a bit of a Cymru-phile as well, so watch my video on the Bardic tradition, Bardic chairs, if you're interested in that side of things. So yeah, I had a smashing little time in Wales. I was working nights, so a lot of the times of the day I was sleeping, but I went to Cowgate as well. That's a nice place. And it was one of those two places that Iolo Morgana used to live as well. That's a cross-reference to my video on Bardic chairs, for those of you who are interested. It may be rare that somebody who is interested in Doctor Who is also interested in Bardic chairs. They're two kind of quite obscure interests. But if you're interested in both, I should probably marry you, really, but that's a shame, I'm already married. So, quarries in Wales. So first of all, outskirts of Cardiff, or what was that? It was actually Cowbridge, wasn't it? Warehousey scenes, running around in corridors. For those of you that know science fiction is all about corridors, nothing but corridors, and people chasing up and down corridors in a very kind of Scooby-Doo-esque kind of fashion. So, arrived for the first day. So the first day was in this kind of ruined, it was either in Cardiff or near, my memories are all getting a bit sketchy now, and I couldn't tell you when this was actually from memory. So I pitch up and bright and early. The thing about kind of being a supporting artist on film sets is you get fed and the food is great. Yeah, so it's lovely food. So I said bright and early, it was probably nights. Though it may have been no, it was days for that one, nights later. And because we were filming indoor stuff in a freezing cold building, and sort of made the didn't make the acquaintance of, but said hello to David Tennant and Freema Agyeman, so that's Martha, the assistant. Now, one of the things, if you're a supporting artist, is you're expected to behave professionally, so you don't kind of go up and kind of buttonhole the principal actors, and you don't ask for autographs, and you don't do any of that kind of stuff. So, although I did get asked for an autograph myself on that set, because somebody wanted an autograph from everyone, so I did sign an autograph, but never asked for one. So got to meet David Tennant and Freema, or at least to say hello, and I'm not sure if John Barrowman was in that bit or not. It may have been that we met him in the quarry shoot later. So I'm going to freeze it there and go into a part 2 of this rambling anecdote of my days in Doctor Who. So back again soon, Rangi Mario.